Hello guys, welcome to a user installation guide on how to install the application for the FFQ questionnaire. Um, Before I get started, I just wanted to mention that this is version 3 of this project, so there's already another installation guide that kind of goes a little bit into the path for Docker and how to do that, set it up that way. But as they mentioned in that video, there's some limitations when it comes to your operating system and like Windows 10 Home Edition, those type of things. So I'm just gonna not go that route and go a different way. Um, so I'll explain that right now. Before anything, what you want to make sure is you need to install basically some dependencies, prerequisites, let's say, and um, this project uses Java and Angular. So what you want to do is just go to install that before you're able to run the application. I already did that beforehand. I installed the JDK, the JRE, and Maven, and Node. I installed all that, and what I had to do was I had to put it basically in a location. So I can show you right now where that location is, where I put it. You can put it anywhere, but once you like download these things, I put it in, for example, dev tools for the Maven and the JDK. And once you do that, you need to also go towards your environment variables, which I have up here. And there are two things. One is you gotta create two paths for the system variables. Well, first two system variables called Java Home and Maven Home, and I just put I call them that, and I put them. It's important to call it like this, and I also put the location of where those were downloaded. So I have that there, and then the other one is this one here. And once you do those two, what you have to do is go towards the path of system variables and add them. So I already added them manually here. I just and the screen might differ depending on your operating system, but I just did like something like new, and then I started typing. Let me go away from that. New, and then Java Home, just like this with the percentage, the backslash in the bin, Maven Home with the backslash in the bin, and I sent them basically at the top. You want, the important part is to have Java Home before the Maven Home, just for you won't run into issues with like dependencies and those type of things. Okay, so after you do those, let's say prerequisites, what you can do is you go towards the project itself, which is hosted on GitHub. It's right now a public repository, so the link will be provided, but it's basically 5 repos. Originally the project had, in version 2, had 3. We had to add 2 more for the user, service, and authentication. And there's 2 ways to get this if you're gonna be developing and all that. The easiest way to do that is to do the Git Clone. For the Git Clone, what you would have to do is basically, like, let's say I go to some path wherever you want to put it. I'm gonna put it in, let's say, the location, the demo location, right? And here are my projects. I already pre-configured them for this demo, for them, but I'll show you live the fifth one that I'm missing, which is food item service, which is this one right here. What you want to do is well, first make sure like the branch is master, because there could be other branches on there, and master is basically like the one you want to pull your code from. Once you've configured that to be okay, you can go towards this button here, and there's two ways to do it. I'll show you both ways, but kind of the way to do it without Git. Like let's say if you're not gonna develop it, you're just gonna like run this app on your computer. You can download the zip, right? And you can see down here that I had already done that previously. But let's just show you how that looks like. Once I download it, what I do is I go ahead and say, okay, it's gonna download the zip. I'll extract it somewhere, right? To follow the demo, let me just put it here to this folder. So I'm just gonna select that and then extract it. And then once that finishes, you can see that it's here. I'm gonna, for clarity's sake, like just rename this to take away, like let's say the branch, the default name of the branch that came up. And I'm just gonna leave it like that to kind of say that, you know, just in case I'm working in different branches and I don't want to call this, you know, dash master or something like that. So here it is. Another way to get that is I'll just use the same example. I'll delete the food item service just so you can see what I'm doing. The other way, and this is probably more common for like the people that are gonna dev the project, just gonna copy this link here to clone it, and I'm gonna go towards the path, right? The same path as before, and I'm gonna say git clone with that URL. And if we go back to that folder again, you're gonna see that it got it successfully. So I have all 5 of them now. So how do you run this app? Basically what you have to do is there's some commands. Basically I'll show you what they are in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. What I wanted to mention is I opened all 5 other projects in the separate command window tabs, and what I'm gonna do is I had already previously done npm install on this one. There's 2 services, the authentication service and the web. They both use npm, so I had to previously do npm install first, and that takes a while, so I had skipped that part in the video. I already did that right now, so I'm just gonna do npm start to start this this part of the application. And for the authentication service, if no errors come up, you should see something like this. For the web, I'm going to do the same, npm start, and it'll start compiling and building. While that happens, I'm gonna just switch over to some of the other ones. The other 3, which is the food item service, questionnaire service, and user service, they use Maven. So then the command to run is this one here, Maven spring dashboard :run. There's an optional tag that's very useful in the beginning to go ahead and start loading some data. Each one is a bit different, so take note of that. For the food item service, it's dash dmongo.food items, which is the name of the collection, .load equals true in quotes. The quotes is important. If I do that, then it'll start building. Let me go back to the web. The web compiled successfully, as you can see, and then these start is starting. These are the same, very similar, just the collection is different. So this one's questionnaires .load is true. I'm gonna hit enter for that one. And lastly, the user service, users.load equals true. For all of them, especially this one, be very careful, because this one will it's okay if you're testing on this, or if you are doing this for the first time, but otherwise, if you run it with this command, it's gonna drop the collection first and then rewrite it with the default values. so be aware of that. And pretty much the same for the questionnaire. As you can see, there's added 1,000 questionnaires. There's these valid IDs that you need for the application. Just keep that in mind. But once you do that, like let's say I hit Control C to terminate that. Once you already did this, you don't have to do this command like this again. You can just do the Maven Spring Boot with the :run, and you won't get the reloading of the questionnaires, let's say, but you'll get the application running, and it'll stay something like this, like all wordy and stuff. Just to go here and reiterate on that fact, this one, it loads the nutrients, food recommendations, and the food descriptions that you'll see in the app. And this one is does the same behavior. Like once you can run this, and once you have it loaded, then you can do the spring dash boot :run, and you'll be fine. So I have all 5, and as you can see, the clinicians and test clinics were loaded. I have all 5 already running. This compiled successfully, as you can see, and we're ready to go. So the port to use, if you want to navigate to the web, is 4200, and that's this right here. So let's go there real quick, just so you can see. And here we go. I had already been pre-configured to log in from a previous session, but normally if you hadn't done that, you would see this login page. There'll be other videos to explain how to navigate towards the different elements of this application. Hope this helped, and good luck.